calling in this message that you're ready to hear tonight, wherever you are in your life right now. And God, universe, guides, angels, we just thank you so much for this amazing technology that allows all of us spiritual seekers to join together in such a beautiful community. We're so grateful for this technology that allows us to keep ourselves educated and keep ourselves in just total love and awareness of all of the wonderful things that we get to experience in life through these channels of technology, through audio, through video, connecting to people all around the world. What a beautiful time it is to be alive. And we're so, so grateful for the opportunity to connect in this way. Thank you. Amen. So, wherever you are just feeling gratitude, a lot of people in today's day and age have a love-hate relationship with technology, but it allows us to connect in these really beautiful ways that wouldn't be possible without it. So, as much as sometimes technology might bother you, I know sometimes it bothers me as well, holding that space of so much gratitude because we really are able to experience so much more from life and this connection that we get to develop with one another all across the world. And that is so, so cool. So, yeah, tonight we're diving into my three favorite ways to maximize serendipity in your life. So, I mean, I imagine if you're listening to this, you probably know what serendipity is, and it's basically the theory of meaningful coincidences, right? So you can write off a coincidence as nothing more, or you can see it with this deep meaning guiding your life in a certain direction. And that's really how I choose to live my life. And I notice the frequency of these serendipitous moments, of these meaningful coincidences happening at such a faster rate because of these techniques that I do. And this was a concept that I wasn't even aware of, or this phrase, until this afternoon. So before we dive into these three techniques, I really need to share the story of how this came about this afternoon. So for those of you who don't know, my very specific spiritual practice is journaling by hand every single morning. I've been doing this for 9 years now, and it's a practice that was developed by Julia Cameron in The Artist's Way, this practice of morning pages, which I'm going to get into because this is one of my three techniques. But just to preface the techniques, I had finished my journal yesterday morning, and I didn't get to go out yesterday to grab a new one. So this morning when I woke up, because that's like my morning ritual, I wake up, I grab my journal, I make my coffee. Again, I'll get into that in a minute, but I didn't have my journal. So I knew even last night that when I woke up this morning, I'd have to go and grab some more journals. Now, there's usually a specific art store that I will go and get these journals at, which is about 20 minutes away or so. And this morning, I really didn't feel like driving that far. I just kind of wanted to grab something and start writing. So the odd time that happens, I'll just go to the dollar store because they have sketchbooks, and I always write in sketchbooks with outlines. Those are just feel the best for me. So I went up to the dollar store that was maybe like a 5-minute drive away. And I knew today that I needed to shift my environment a little bit. I woke up from a dream, actually, that I was completely unprepared for this show tonight. And it left me feeling like pretty anxious. It left me feeling when I woke up in the morning like, okay, I really need to prepare more. So I already knew before I left the house, I'm going to go buy my new journal, and I'm going to go out to write today. I'm going to go and sit at my favorite local coffee shop, and specifically with the intention of like, I need to change my environment. I need to stimulate some new thoughts. And the best way to do that is put yourself in a new environment, a new experience, kind of shift what you're doing. So even sometimes I will do that for this intention when I feel like I need to shift things up a little bit. I will specifically choose to write in a new journal, like a different like a totally different cover, like something different than I normally go to. I normally have my very like staple kind of journals that I write in. So the odd time that happened, I knew this morning, I was like, no, I'm gonna get something totally different. And this all goes into this theme of maximizing serendipity, which is such a fun topic. So I go out, I start writing at my favorite cafe, just feeling like super awesome, about 6 pages in, and I had been, talking to God, because that's what I do in the morning. And a couple topics came up that I really wanted to like jam on this morning. One being what the show topic was going to be tonight, and two, about my upcoming Bali trip. So in September, I am going to Bali for about 6 weeks, which I'm so, so excited about. And the whole experience of why it came was complete serendipity in itself, completely guided by God, by the universe. And when that happens, it's like, okay, I'm all in. And I trust that God will finance it, in the monetary perspective, as it needs to happen. So, I'm thinking, like, as I've got about two months now until September, I'm like, all right, God, like, how are you going to finance this trip, right? Like, I want to start thinking about this. And then also about the show tonight. So I got the guidance that was like, okay, start writing out all of the things about this Bali trip, which I'm going to get into in another show about how to manifest quicker, especially when it comes to money. It's a super fun topic, but I only have such limited time here tonight with this show. And then I got the guidance to, we'll talk about what you'll do on the show a little bit later. So I jammed out for about 6 pages on, Bali, how I'm going to pay for it. And then I got a call from a friend, or I called them rather, to talk about a couple things, and they're like, oh, can I call you back in like 20 minutes? So I changed my environment again. There was like some kids yelling beside me, and so I decided I already finished my coffee, and so I just walked right across the street to this beautiful park where there's lots of flowers and a bench, where it would be quiet for me to have a conversation. So when my friend called back, we were just talking about stuff, and I mentioned to him, because there was somebody in the local community that he really wanted to meet when the time was right. And so when we were talking, I was like, oh yeah, hey, if you want, I could set up like a dinner or like a lunch or something with this person, as we've kind of like connected through a mutual friend lately. He's like, oh yeah, like that sounds cool, like no rush, whatever. And I was like, yeah, I'm just putting it out there. So we get off the phone, and 10 minutes later, my friend, who is the mutual friend of this connection, walks past me. Now, she doesn't even live in Fort Langley. So again, this was total synchronicity. This connection that, as I was starting to speak like into reality, something that I wanted, something that I was sharing with another person, it's like as we speak into reality, like we're casting these spells through our words, through our desires, and the more that we articulate them to other people, through our journaling, through our words, the frequency starts to speed up. And so having her walk right past me and us being like, oh my gosh, hey. And it turned out like she came and sat with me. We sat in the park for probably a good hour and just totally had the best, most amazing conversation, which resulted in this title, this thesis really, of maximizing serendipity in your life. And I had never heard it phrased that way before. And there was a lot of other synchronicities that happened as a result of our conversation. Not only did we talk about a woman that she was telling me about, this woman who never drove her whole life, and how as we drive more in vehicles, like in this day and age, we're not spending as much time in our local communities. We're not walking. And by walking more and spending more physical time in our local community versus driving by ourselves all the time, we are maximizing serendipitous events, interactions, connections with people. So this was also answering a call that I had been desiring clarity around for my Bali trip, which was I'll be selling my car as before I leave. And my plan was to kind of sell it right before I go because I want the summer to use my car. Even though I rarely ever use it, I'll use it maybe once a week. It's really not a necessity for me. And having her share that story also answered my previous desire and question to God about financing Bali, in that I don't need the car right now, that I could actually sell it sooner, and that would also enhance maximizing serendipitous events. So there was all of these synchronicities that happened just within this conversation. Not only that, I had also just articulated in the previous conversation that I was telling you about, in the phone call before she walked past me, how, I kind of realized that I had been maybe blocking myself in a way, blocking more money coming toward me in a way for this Bali trip, because I was so intentional of how I wanted to spend this 5 month period in my life from about April to September. And it was really all about not setting any goals, just having a lot of time for friendship, to learn some music, to just not put any pressure on myself. And so as we kind of hit July 1st, and like the subsequent days that have followed, I was starting to feel a little bit of this pressure and starting to feel like, oh God, like I didn't want to feel pressure that I had to like make enough money for this goal. I really wanted to just feel expansive. I wanted to have more time for friendship. And how can I balance this while trying to receive more money, but keeping my intentions? And so it was the first time I really shared that verbally, like with a trusted friend, just kind of getting it off of my chest, and really acknowledging the fact that I had been blocking myself in a way to receive all of the necessary funding from God, from the universe, because I was scared. I was scared in a way that, I don't want this time in my life to be over, this 2 month period of, July and August. I love to savor experiences in my life. And so I was really scared that this phase of my life would be over. But it doesn't have to be. And I kind of reworked that myself. And so it was just so fascinating, again, that this friend of mine had walked by at that exact moment of about 10 minutes later. And it was like God was saying, like, you can have it all. Like, here's your friend right here. And we ended up having this totally spontaneous hour-long hangout in the park where we had this beautiful conversation, and which also inspired the show tonight. So I hope this is making sense, in that as we set very clear intentions, as we follow the guidance we're being given, as we really surrender to this God force that's always guiding us, we really can have it all. And it really is a process of developing your own devotion, of practicing faith. And what this friend taught me today was that luck is the combination of preparedness and being in the flow. And really, this is how I have set up my life without fully realizing what I was doing, in that be prepared, know what you want, set yourself up for success, be prepared for the life you really want, which is something I'm so passionate about, and then be in the flow of how you kind of like move through that and allow the universe, God, your guides, angels, whatever resonates with you, to spark that inspiration and those divine interactions throughout that process. So it's such a powerful way that we can bridge the gap between science and spirituality, and really gives us this deep sense of like fulfillment and this almost sense of deeper control in our lives, while being completely surrendered. It's a very fascinating paradox, and it does take a lot of practice to really get in there. But that's what I'm super passionate about teaching and sharing, and it has completely inspired so much in me just today. And so I'm going to be offering a amazing, wonderful 4-week group coaching program where we're going to dive right into how you can maximize serendipitous events in your life, with guided meditations, with a lot of the like deeper soul work, journaling, and I'm going to really coach you through every step of the way, how to get super, super clear on the life that you really want, and taking those aligned action steps to get you there while also surrendering to being guided. So it's this beautiful process. If you want more information on that, please don't hesitate to send me a message. Facebook Messenger is where I hang out. So yeah, that'll be starting in a couple weeks from now, which I'm so, so excited about. It's just going to be absolutely amazing. So with that, let's dive into the 3 techniques that I use every day to maximize serendipity in my life, and how you can do the same. It's super, super fun. And again, just being mindful that this is a practice. You're not necessarily going to shift your entire life overnight, though you can, absolutely. But even in the process of 3 months, I have seen people just completely quantum shift their life, which is what I have done as well. And knowing that with this strategic spiritual connection and aligned action, right? Because we're not just visualizing things and expecting them to just show up, right? That's just being passive. We have to take this aligned action consistently, and knowing this beautiful dance of when to sit back and rest, which is kind of a little bit more of the feminine, and when to really take that aligned action and like pursue what it is that we want, and know when to say yes, when to say no, and really trusting our intuition in all of these areas of how to really know what decision we need to make that is in alignment with our soul long term. So super fun, exciting stuff. I just love this topic. So the number 3 technique we're going to count down here is a strong, powerful morning ritual. This is something I am probably more passionate about developing a morning ritual than anything else. It is so, so important for your spiritual development, for your happiness. It will completely change your life. Serving yourself before you go out and serve the world every single morning. Because how often do we do that, right? We wake up to an alarm clock, we get ready, and we go to work. Right away, we're putting ourselves on reaction mode to other people and other vehicles, the traffic, our boss when we get to work, the other people's mood of the staff that we work with, right? So this is where I see people really suffering is, they go into their workplace first thing in the morning, and they're already so overstimulated by not only, social media, checking their phone in the morning and being bombarded with all of this news and stimulation of things that really are not, you really don't need in your mind first thing in the morning. And then also the mood and the reaction of everyone else in your sphere. So setting yourself up for success every single morning before you leave the house is the number one thing that you can do for yourself, but also for the world. If you can be that strong, spiritual, Zen person at work, your coworkers will love you, your boss will love you, you will feel so much more powerful in your place of work, in your whole life experience, because you have energetically aligned yourself, you've talked to God, the universe, you have connected to your soul first thing in the morning before doing anything else. And there's really nothing more important than that, in my opinion. So, like I said, this is a process from Julia Cameron called Morning Pages. That's how I started doing it 9 years ago. You want to write a minimum of 3 pages by hand. You do want to do it by hand because this also stimulates a physical connection. You're not just being mental. It really connects all these aspects of ourselves, the mental, the intellectual, the spiritual, the emotional, and the physical by moving our hand across the page. It really connects all these areas of our body and mind and soul together. So 3 pages by hand. This is completely stream of consciousness. This is not poetry. There is no grammar. There is nothing other than just spilling out your thoughts. I really like to call this a green juice for your mind because that's what it is. You're really detoxing your mind every single morning, just getting those thoughts out there, getting those anxieties out there. Maybe it's your to-do list, all the things you feel like you need to do, that you want to do, things that you dream about, anything. But the main point is stream of consciousness, getting all that stuff out of your system so you're not taking it into the rest of your day. This is so, so important. I absolutely love to use this practice. And for a couple years, I actually called them I want pages. Because how often do we actually give ourselves permission to write out the things that we want, to really articulate what we want? We tend to dance around the things that we really want, and being super ultra clear on what it is that we want and creating that intentional dialogue every morning with ourselves. You know, the word confidence stems from to confide in oneself. So if you are confiding in yourself every single morning through this process, your confidence is going to like skyrocket. You're going to feel like you can do anything because you've confided in yourself every single morning by sharing your own hopes, your own dreams, your own insecurities, your own fears. All of it goes into these pages. And 3 pages is just a start. You know, like at this point in my life, I tend to average between like 6 and 9 every morning. But that's just because I love it. But 100% 3 pages. And this is really giving yourself a daily dialogue with God. So the way that I start every single morning, and this is something that you can use if you want, whatever feels good for you. But I literally write the date, and then I write, good morning, God, angels, guides, high tea. That's like my name for my higher self, like Hi Taya, but I just call her High Tea. So use whatever form you want, but this is so powerful in my practice because I am creating this intentional dialogue every single morning, and that translates through the rest of the day. So it's like I got God like by my side throughout the whole day. There's this constant dialogue going on, which maximizes the serendipity because I'm communicating what I want all day long, and it's this constant dialogue. So it's super, super powerful. Getting into a trance is super powerful for this. So I have a playlist that I use, instrumental playlist. But my favorite thing to do is actually listen to one track on repeat over and over and over again. It's so, so powerful, and it gets you into this hypnotic state. So even, for example, today I listened to the same song on repeat, instrumental beats for probably a good 2 hours as I was writing and then preparing for this show tonight, another track for another hour. So super powerful for that. The second key for maximizing serendipity is creating a sacred schedule. And this is super, super powerful, is knowing when you work best. This is the greatest gift you can give yourself. Don't make yourself conform into the mainstream stereotypical way of having to work. Sometimes we have to do that to survive. But start acknowledging when you are at your most creative. Start acknowledging when you are at your peak and when you are at your best. For me, this is first thing in the morning. This is from when I wake up at about like 9, sometimes 10, not gonna lie, until about 2. So that means when I work with clients, I don't take any sessions before 2 p.m. because I know I need that chunk of time in the morning to get at my highest capacity. And when I work outside the house, when I serve a couple nights a week, I don't start until after 5. So I've only got a little bit of time left, so we're going to wrap up the rest of this. Creating a sacred schedule, though. For me, this means sacred, fun, and luxurious. Those are three of my core desired feelings, so my schedule has to feel that way. And as you have a schedule that maximizes your potential and the way you work best, again, that's going to maximize these synchronicities because you're going to be at the right place at the right time when you are at your highest frequency. So the number one way to maximize serendipity in your life is setting goals with soul. Super powerful. A prompt I'm going to leave you with this one is, does this align with the agenda of my soul? So I want you to really ask yourself this question as you're setting your goals, your intentions. Ask yourself, write this prompt in your journal. Does this align with the agenda of my soul? If the answer is no, then let it go. Really give yourself permission to make choices that empower you and that are in alignment with the agenda of your soul moving forward. It makes life so much easier. So that is the show for tonight. These are my 3 keys for maximizing serendipity in your life. There's going to be so much more on this to come. I am so excited about this topic. Again, if you want to know more about this amazing group coaching program that I have coming up, please send me a message on Facebook and I will send you the information.
Hi, I'm Stephanie, and thanks for watching Moonstruck. And now back to A1R on the air. Psychic Talk Radio now on Moonstruck TV. Enlightening television.
To A1R Psychic Radio here on Moonstruck TV with Amanda Hall Psychic. We have to kick the show off with my apologies for last week. I woke up with absolutely zero voice. I was hoping by that stage I hadn't had a voice for 5 days, that I might have miraculously had one for last week's show, but unfortunately I didn't. So I'm going to apologise again for that. I hope you sort of had a great fortnight anyway without me. And I know that we would have put on an amazing rerun show from the previous shows that I've done. It's been a really interesting time astrologically, and I'd like to kick off with that first off. Lots and lots of people have been sending me inboxes and sort of saying, Amanda, why am I feeling so tired? Why is it this? Why is it that? You know, I really feel like I'm just sort of being pulled in so many different directions. And because I suppose I didn't have the energy to really answer anybody or briefly, it was sort of like, look, I don't have all the answers. I don't feel well enough to even contemplate your answers. And fortunately, yesterday I was working on another show out of New York called I've Got Your Number with 2 amazing ladies, Lois and Joanna. And it was during the show that Lois, as a numerologist, was talking about why we all need to rest in the month of July. So I thought I'd share that little bit of wisdom with you today. That apparently when you go back to the religious beliefs, and this is not about being religious, this is about let's take some information and use it right across the board, that on the seventh day we're supposed to rest. So her belief system is on the seventh month of the year, which is July, we should all take some time, some downtime. We should all rest. We should all look after ourselves. And I really found that resonated with me, because I always find by the time we get to July, I'm always sort of feeling if that's the time I'm going to get sick, I usually get sick then. And I used to think it was because it was winter time here in Australia, and I don't particularly like winter. I just thought it was my emotional self allowing myself to sort of say, well, you know, you've got an excuse to curl up in bed with a video and not go to work today because you're feeling a little bit under the weather. But it makes sense if you look at that we go really hard for the first 6 months of the year, and then by the time we get to July, it's like, wow, we're over the halfway mark. It's sort of almost like we all drop our bundle and say, I really do need to sit down on the couch, or I really do need to just do something for me. So that's my little pearls of wisdom before we kick the show off. So we're going to start the show off again with our Simply Tarot card of the week. And I'm really pleased to say today the card is the Three of Cups. Now, whether or not this is symbolic with the amazing rescue of getting those 12 boys out and their coach out of the cave, let's hope it's connected to that, and many, many more things. It's the card of celebration and bright happenings. So it was really nice to wake up this morning to find that those lovely young boys had all been rescued, plus their coach. And our hearts and our prayers still go out to the diver that lost his life during the course of that rescue. I mean, there's been so many amazing people from all around the globe rescuing those boys. I can't begin to imagine the stress that their parents and everybody involved in that has been through. And luckily, they're all safe and well. And we have to really be very, very thankful for that. So keeping the show moving along as we need to do each week is keep everything moving so that we can get through what we need to get through in the next half an hour. The next thing I want to focus on is what is actually happening this week around the astrology sector of the globe. And look, there's so much we could spend 3 hours talking about and I wouldn't cover it. So let's just hone in on one, which is the new moon, which is going to be part of the first eclipses that we're going to have. We're going to have a series of 3 eclipses. I'm not a big eclipse person. I know lots of astrologers work with these and are really sort of much more knowledgeable than I am. All I can say to you from my personal experience with eclipses is it usually means that there's a major change or a major turning point in your life. This first eclipse is going to coincide with the new moon in Cancer. Now, the new moon in Cancer will move into the sign of Cancer on the 13th. So those of you that are regular viewers, you know that I like to sort of talk about a moon cycle being on a 7-day cycle. 2 days on the approach coming up the hill, 3 days sitting on top of the hill, and 2 days coming down. So we're into that section of the 2 days on the approach coming up the hill. So if we look at working with setting our intent, purpose and direction with our new moon in Cancer by writing our little list of what we want. So for those of you that may not know what a new moon means, a new moon means it's a time of new beginnings, of new opportunities, of things that are brand new. Not necessarily something that we may have been working on for 12 months or 2 years. Hopefully it's new stuff. So I always teach people to write a list. Let's work on the score of 3 things you're going to put on your list, something that hopefully we can achieve in the next week or 2, something in the next 6 months, and something in the next 12 months, or maybe has a longer duration. So if we're going to be working with a new moon, and let's go to the candles first off so that we know why we're going to be writing a list, we'd be working with, in this case, the new moon candle. So my new moon candle is been specially designed for new moons. It's not a candle that I burn at any other time of the month, even though it's one of my favourite fragrances because it's French vanilla. It is specifically designed for the new moon. So it's a candle that we would burn on the new moon. When we work with a candle from 15 minutes to 2 hours per day. So we write our list and we'll write 2 identical lists. We would read the list out aloud and then we would light the candle. So we always pop our candle on a coaster. We never put it directly on furniture. We don't want to scorch the furniture because the glass container itself does get hot. Now, these candles all come with a double wick, and I'll show you that now. They come with a dual wick, 2 wicks. So I like to sort of light one side one day and one side the next day. And the reasons why I do that is I sometimes find with the changes of temperature, the glass container can crack. And also it gives you a much longer burn time. The recommended burn time if you have light the 2 wicks is about 60 hours. If you light them alternately on alternate days, you'll get up to about 100 hours burn time. So that's our new moon candle. Then I would also be burning at this time the water sign candle. The reasons for this, because the new moon is in Cancer. So I would want to enhance that emotional energy and the emotional issues that I'm trying to draw towards me, or to increase my intuition. Now, this is really important. Now, for those of you that say to me, Amanda, that's terrific, but I want something to take that's a much smaller sort of situation, we have our travel pack. Now, our travel pack you can make up of any 3 candles of your choice out of the 28 in our range. I've made it up with the new moon and the water sign in the middle, but you can make it up in any combination that you want. These ones only have a single wick, same rules apply. Write your list, pop it on a coaster, pop it on the table. These will burn for approximately 15 hours. Now, for those of you that say, well, that's all terrific, but I don't actually want to burn a candle, Amanda, what are my other options? Well, you can also purchase one of these melt warmers or wax warmers. In the supermarkets here in Australia, they're under $20. I don't know how much they are overseas. But what you can do, if you don't want to use the flame and you don't want to burn a candle, you can take half a teaspoon of your wax and put it in your melt warmer. These are electric. They have a little button that you turn on and off. You can leave these going all day and you don't have to sit with them, and that's why I like them. I actually have a couple of these set up around my office and my home so that I have one constantly set up with protection in it in my office, so that every time I go to start work, I turn the protection one on and put some fresh soy wax in there. But I have whatever I'm working on as my intent, purpose and direction in the other part of my office and my dining room table, where I mainly do a lot of my work. And I have that one burning with whatever I'm working with at the moment, which is the new moon at the moment. So with the new moon one, I put half a teaspoon of each, half a teaspoon of the new moon and half a teaspoon of the water sign. It's entirely your choice how you like to work with them. For those of you that don't have these particular type of candles, any candle will do. I always try and teach you to work with what resources that you've got. If you've got candles at home, even if you've only got a household grade candle, take the candle and focus on it. Focus on the energy as if meditating into it, and put in there what you want to draw towards you. That's putting your intent, purpose and direction into the candle. So we then light the candle. We work with it from 15 minutes to 2 hours a day. Please don't leave a candle unattended, under curtains, under air conditioning, in drafts, around children and dogs and, pets and animals and things like that. It's really important because it can start a fire and we don't want to lose anybody. So the reasons why we work with the new moon is that we're trying to draw towards us new opportunities. But it's also a time where we need to be very aware that our emotions are going to be incredibly heightened at this time, because the new moon is back in its own energy. It's back in its home. It's where it feels most comfortable. And this can have a good and a bad reaction. The good reaction is that we can get some really incredible psychic sort of flashes, and we can really feel like we're pumping them out one after the other, all these messages and ideas and inspiration and everything that's coming towards us. But on the negative, I think the spirits are playing with me today with my hair. They know I don't like it in my eyes. Having a little fun they are. But it's also a time where we can also find that our raw emotions can come to the surface too, and particularly if it's something that we've been trying to avoid or ignore or maybe don't want to look at. And it could be sort of what some people class as a negative emotion. It can be anger, it can be fear, it can be frustration, it can be tears. And sometimes it's a combination of, extreme happiness in 1 minute and then tears the next, and you think, what's wrong with me? It's just the emotions all playing their little role on the stage, if you want to look at it that way, and they're all vying to be, in the spotlight. So just work with it. Don't sort of try and harness it. I sort of say to people, enjoy it, go with it. We're very lucky that we get to experience lots of different emotions, and the new moon in Cancer is the perfect time to sort of say, well, okay, I want to start to experience all of my emotions. I'm not just limiting them to good emotions or avoiding things or trying to put my fear in the closet. It's a time to embrace it, know it, and understand why it's there, and how can I work with it? How can I turn it into a positive? Take that, raw negative energy and turn it into something positive. So it's actually quite an exciting time. when you work with the new moon in Cancer, which only happens once a year, I might say. And before we go off the subject of that, yes, it is a super full moon. What that means is it's a little bit larger in the sky. So, yes, everything that you know about the Cancerian energy, the nurturing, the loving, the wanting to eat chocolate, staying home, sitting on the couch watching a good DVD, you know, binging on Netflix, whatever, is all applicable. And, you know, chocolate is one of the 5 food groups for Cancerians, and I think we can all sort of, you know, join them in this little festivities at the moment, allowing a little bit of chocolate. Not a lot, but a little bit makes you feel happy and makes you sing through the day. So there's nothing wrong with a little bit of what makes you feel happy, I don't feel. So be aware the emotions will be even more larger than normal because of the super full moon. But I think we're just sort of talking so much about super full moons and red moons and this moon and that moon. It's still the moon, for heaven's sake, and let's just look at the moon for what it is. It's the new moon, how it's affecting us and the energy that it's in. And then, you know, just sort of say, okay, well, it's going to be a bit more powerful than normal. And that's all we have to look at it for. So we're going to move on to our famous singer of the week. And this week I'm really excited to talk about somebody that I know I say this all the time, that I have immense respect for the people that, and they surprise me when I start to do research on who's under what star sign. But this man, I think, is a legend. And I mean this in the most positive sort of ways. And without his input into music, I don't think we'd have the type of music and the variety of music that we have today. And I'm talking about the one and only Louis Armstrong. And, you know, even though he was born at the turn of the last century, what an amazing man. I mean, he was born in New Orleans in Louisiana. He was known for his skills as a trumpeter. You know, he could pick up any instrument basically and play it. But what I think he really is the most famous for is the way that he interpreted the feel of the music. You know, he really sort of, when I think of rhythm and blues, I think of Louis Armstrong, and I think of this man as being the pioneer, almost the father of bringing this type of music to our world and sort of bringing it in such a sort of positive, dynamic sort of way. He knew no boundaries. He felt the music. He lived the music. The music was part of him. It was an extension of him. It came out of every pore of his skin. And this is why this man was, you know, inducted into the Hall of Fame for the rhythm and blues, and his career spanned over 5 decades. That's over 50 years. That's amazing. And when you think of this man who was, you know, could play wind instruments, he was a musician, he was a singer, he was an actor, he was an innovator, he was somebody that sort of took no and said, well, why are you saying no to me? I'll turn it into a yes. And the little poster that I've done up that I'll feed through social media this afternoon has a really amazing quote from him about music and what happens to musicians when they no longer want to sing. And I thought that was a really nice quote. I didn't write it down on my whiteboard to share it with you, but it will be on the poster. And just what an amazing man. And when you look at some of the volume of some of his work, and I know I don't normally mention songs, but when you think of songs like What a Wonderful World, we all know that song. When the Saints Come Marching In, Hello Dolly. I mean, you know, these are all songs that we synonymously know, but may not have necessarily sort of said, oh, okay, Louis Armstrong was instrumental with those songs, but he is. He was the man that put the passion in these songs. So I really salute him, an amazing entertainer. So moving on, we're going to be taking our very, very first call now. If I might need to put my glasses on because I can't see a thing today. Okay, so we've got Elvira in Evansville, Indiana. Are you there, Elvira?
Yes, I am.
Do you have a question for me, sweetie?
Yes, I have a relative who's lost her husband of 37 years, and she's in the hospital, and I was wondering, will she bounce back?
Okay. It's interesting because health is usually one of the areas that's sort of grey areas that we're not technically supposed to cover by laws that govern your country and mine. But how I can get around this is, look, I can appreciate that, you know, she is very sick and she has been, you know, for a little while now, and the tremendous shock that she had to bear losing her husband of 37 years. They are showing me the signs of endings. Now, I'm not taking that as the end of her life. I'm taking it in a more positive way and saying, okay, yes, she's had some severe emotional endings. She's had issues and situations that she's had to deal with, including her health. But I feel that we're going to be able to put that behind us. And that's why the way that I've interpreted that they've shown me the symbol of ending wasn't of this is the end, but that we are finding solutions and answers that we can put this behind us. So, yes, I do believe she's going to bounce back. I do think it's going to take a little bit of time, though. I don't feel that they've actually got to the bottom of her medical issues yet. And I'm going to say issues with an S. I feel there's more than one condition. And this has been the issue for the medical staff, is that all the symptoms don't just fit neatly into one little basket and say we can put this label on it. It's sort of like it crosses over 2 or 3 possible diagnoses. And this is what's made it difficult for them to try and sort of pinpoint it down to then find the right treatment to be able to manage this. And I'm going to use the word manage rather than treat it, because I feel that there is one of them that needs to be managed, but I also feel that there's been an infection or an illness as well. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, because to me it was on 2 levels. It was like one sort of like a condition we've got to manage, like asthma, say. I mean, I know it's not asthma, but it's like something we can control and we can manage. We can't cure it. But then there was an infection over here that I felt that was where the stumbling block was the most, because I feel it's not sort of fitting into their normal categories to know, you know, like we've tried this and that didn't work, and we've tried that and that only partially worked. And it's like there's going to need to be a combination there of ways that they attack it to get on top of the infection. So has she been in hospital 2 to 3 weeks now?
Yeah, a little bit
Well,
more.
we're close. Okay, well then they're very close to getting an answer, because they showed me a 2 and then a -3, and then they showed me that things were starting to improve after that. So I feel we must be very close to them getting answers and getting her well again. Look, I think she'll still be there another week or 2 at least from where we stand today. But I feel when she does come out of hospital, she looks a hell of a lot better than she's done in a very, very long time. So I'm taking from that, whatever this other condition is that they've got to manage, that they hadn't even diagnosed before, must have been lowering her health or, you know, her way of coping with life, and she didn't even realise it. Do you know what I mean? She was so busy with life and with her husband. And was he sick before he passed too?
Okay.
Yeah, so she was so focused on everything else, I think she sort of didn't, I'm not saying she ignored it, but I don't think she allowed herself to sort of think, oh, well, I've got a sore leg. You know what I mean? I better go and see to that. It's like, I'll do that tomorrow. And then tomorrow came and there was a new set of challenges that she just really didn't have the time for herself. So this is why this condition has sort of got out of control. Do you know what I mean? And why we need to get to the bottom of that and start managing that. And then, you know, it's just a combination of things. But yes, to answer your question, yes, I do believe she's going to bounce back, and I can see a real twinkle in her eyes again, which hasn't been there for a very long time. So it's good that she's got you to support her and help her and, you know, be concerned about it, but everything's going to be fine.
Excellent.
Okay? Lovely to speak with you. Okay, we're going to speak to Amanda in Winnipeg, and that's in Canada. How are you, Amanda?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Very, very well today, thank you. How can I help you, sweetie? Do you have a question for me?
I guess this is my first time calling. Just kind of wondering how things are going to go with my dad's health.
Right, okay. Like I just said to the previous lady, we're technically not supposed to talk about health issues, but what I can do is go around the edge of it. No, technically because we're not doctors, we're not supposed to diagnose or talk about things like that, but I can go around it in another sort of fashion. With your dad, what I'm seeing here is, first and foremost, he's incredibly stubborn.
Mm-hmm.
And this has been part of the problem. He goes to the medical practitioner and he only tells them part of the problem. He doesn't tell them all of it. It's like, well, they don't need to know everything. Do you know what I mean? Or he's such a proud man that he doesn't...
definitely him.
Yeah, that he doesn't want to go in there and seem like he's having a whinge fest. So instead of 10 things on the list that he should talk about, he'll talk about 1, maybe 2. So this has made it more difficult for his medical practitioners to be able to get to the bottom of the issue without knowing all the facts. So I think even if you go in there and start sort of talking about what you know to them, I think that would be helpful. Now, I don't believe what your dad has got is what we consider at this point as life-threatening. I'm not saying it's not serious, but I don't feel it's life-threatening. I feel it can be managed.
Okay.
So I feel, but he has to be honest with them, because if he leaves this too long, then it will probably turn into a more life-threatening situation because he hasn't given them all the information. Do you know what I mean? If you leave something long enough, then it becomes chronic, and we don't want it to become that. But he's been very bad-tempered lately too, snapping at everybody.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's sort of like you've really got to bite your tongue, you know, when you know that you can't go mad at him because he isn't well, but by heavens, he's had a mouthful of razor blades. He's just snapping and snarling and cutting everybody down to size and just more grumpy than normal. But did they talk about maybe possibly putting him in a hospital to run some tests?
Okay.
Because I'm seeing the hospital bed, but I'm seeing it as in sort of a precautionary measure, not because his conditions got worse. I'm seeing it as a way of running a series of tests and x-rays or blood tests or whatever that sort of like they can monitor what's going into him. Could there be partly something to do with his sugar problem?
Not that I'm aware of.
No, the reason I asked was when they gave me the flash of him being in the hospital and them running all these tests, they seemed to be coming and pricking his finger, you know, every few hours. Now, from my understanding of that, that's testing someone's sugar level. So whether or not that's just part of the precautionary tests that they're doing, you know, to rule that out, but that was part of what, you know, they're probably not even going to tell you, but that was one of the things. But I can see when you go and visit him, he's sort of talking about a man's like a bloody pincushion, you know. They keep coming and bloody taking little droplets of butter out of his finger. I mean, as if he, you know, it's almost like he feels like that he hasn't got enough to give them. Do you know what I mean? He gets so cranky about it. Probably not as painful and as bad as what he's making out, but the way he's going on about the man will have no blood left soon. Do you know what I mean? Like they've taken one drop at a time. They haven't taken pints of his blood. So just be aware of that. That's part of what they're eliminating, I think. But I just sort of feel it's something that can be managed. I really don't believe it's life-threatening, and I think we can improve his temperament as well. Should be nice. Okay. But he's just stubborn. That's his biggest problem. He's just stubborn. He just doesn't, you know, he doesn't want to tell anybody anything. And, you know, sometimes that's not a good thing when you're too stubborn and you don't go to the doctor for no reason. You go there to tell them everything. They're not mind readers. They don't have a crystal ball. They need you to tell them so they can make an inaccurate diagnosis of where they think they need to look to explore what to do next. And he hasn't given them that, but everything's going to be fine.
Okay.
Wonderful. Okay, lovely to speak with you, Amanda.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so we still have a few minutes left on the show. For those of you that might want to have a private reading with me, not on air, but you can always head to my website, www.amandahallpsychic.com.au. And when you get to the checkout, if you type in the word radio in capital letters, you will get a discount there. Anybody that's interested in purchasing candles, here in Australia we can offer free postage. For our overseas family, unfortunately we can't offer you free postage, but what we can offer you is a flat fee postage. So might I suggest save up your pennies for everything that you want and order everything in one go. That way that, you know, you can reduce your postage costs. It doesn't matter how much you order, we will still give it to you at flat fee postage. And for those of you that want to know a little bit more about the new moon in Cancer, I will be doing a workshop immediately after this show over on Facebook on my Amanda Hall page. You're more than welcome there to join us. On next week's show, yes, we'll be talking about the Simply Tarot card of the week. We'll also have our candle of the week. We'll have our famous Leo singer in a female next week, and that'll be exciting to know who that will be. And we'll also have our little trip around the universe. It's been absolutely awesome to have you here with us again, but don't forget what Lois shared with me yesterday. We all need to sort of find the couch and sit on it and watch our favourite movie and just let our bodies relax and wind down and get ready for the race to the end of the year. I think that's really important. And, you know, if you want to see me talk about something on the show, please private message me and I'll try and weave it into one of the coming shows. And because the show is about education, I'm here to educate and teach you. I'm here to share with you some of my knowledge so that maybe that, you know, this might just help you on your enlightened journey, as we're all at different stages on our spiritual development, and nobody has all the answers. I always teach people, if it feels right to you, then adopt it. If it doesn't feel right, then dismiss it. And that way then you can never go wrong, because we all only take what information that we need that feels right for us. So I hope you have an absolutely awesome week wherever you are in this amazing planet of ours. And don't forget, this is only the start of our week on A1R Psychic Radio. We have another 2 nights to go after this, and plenty more fabulous readers and psychics and healers to answer your calls with some very exciting and interesting shows. There's always new people joining the team, and we have our perennial favourites as well. But I look forward to working with you again next week. Amanda Hall, psychic.com.au. Have an awesome week. Bye for now.
Welcome back to the Ask Rebecca radio show. Thanks for joining me. I hope everyone had a great week. We are officially in the month of July. Brief overview. July is going to be a pretty potent month with energies, Mars and Mercury retrogrades, plus 2 eclipses this month, plus a bunch of trines. Things will definitely be interesting. Mars retrograde may still have it may still have you more focused on rest, relaxation, and recreation, and that's pretty much where I'm at right now, is all 3 of the R's. I just want to rest, relax, and do nothing. Mercury retrograde will be adding to the chill vibe, plus the usual things that come along with Mercury retrograde. Luckily, that doesn't start until the end of the month. And, I mean, we do have the shadow period, but I think, you know, it's not going to be in full effect until like July 20-something. Expect major manifestations on things you've been thinking on, planning for, or worked on in the past. Expect changes to happen as well. The eclipse energies will affect your external and internal realities. Best advice that I can give you is not to resist uncertainty or change. It will make it easier to navigate if you can kind of just roll with things, go with the flow, just be with what is, and try not to push or force things to happen before they're ready. There will be some really great days this month and some drama-filled days this month. Again, just go with the flow. Allow yourself to feel and recognize what's coming up inside of you. You have to choose to do the work. Otherwise, things won't change for the better. Expect to see things play out on the world stage as well. There could be a few surprises and or shocking revelations this month. All right, let's get into what you can expect for this week, which runs through to next Thursday, July 12th. These are general predictions for everyone in areas of work, love, finances, health, and spirituality. If you're interested in any of the services I offer, you can go to my website, askrebecca.guru. General themes for this week. Lots of creative energy this week. Creativity is sparked by the imagination, so everything you do can be a product of your creativity. It's not just, you know, sometimes we think that creativity only means if you're a painter or a writer or something to do within the arts and the music world, but creativity is actually everything you do, because you're using your imagination and you're using ideas. So anything that you're basically creating is creativity. So I feel like some of you will be lost in your imagination all week, daydreaming and visualizing the things that you want for yourself. I think, you know, Daydreaming is a good thing. Using your imagination is a good thing. Visualizing is a good thing. These are all things that will help you work on manifestation, but you don't want to get caught up in daydreaming too much where you're not grounded in reality. I do feel like some of you will be using your creativity to come up with innovative solutions. Lots of out-of-the-box thinking this week, and that's all thanks to that creative energy. And due to the creative energy, you'll also experience revelations, a sudden understanding of something that was previously hidden or secret, basically like missing pieces of the puzzle. For some of you, it may literally be finding a missing piece to a puzzle you're working on, or it will be the missing piece that links you to the perfect job or the perfect person, or whatever it is. It's just some sort of revelation. And a lot of these revelations are also going to have to do with your internal stuff, realizing things about yourself, having revelations about maybe, realizing you criticize yourself too much, or you're overthinking too much, or you have a negative outlook, or maybe you complain too much. So it's going to be kind of those things that are a little uncomfortable to take a look at within ourselves, but they're good things that need to come up. Now, some of these missing pieces or revelations, they could come up unexpectedly through a flash of insight. It could come from other people, places, situations, or things. It could come from songs, anything. Something will spark, and you'll have that aha moment, and you'll realize it, and it'll be a beautiful thing. I feel like you may transform old concepts and beliefs, setting a new course for yourself. This week is another balancing act between the physical and the spiritual. Those of you who have become too engrossed in physical matters, such as survival issues or material gratification, and you've temporarily lost your perspective of what's really going on and what really matters, I feel like you'll be forced to see things from a higher perspective. So that's going to get balanced out. Like if you've been too much in the material world and like you're feeling this emptiness in your heart by shopping, or you're trying to keep up with the Joneses, or you're not going to be happy unless you get this next thing. Those are the sort of things that are going to come up for you to realize you're constantly going to be chasing that high, right? Because you're not dealing with what's happening internally with you. Like you're not dealing with the real stuff, the real issues. So like I said, those of you that have been a little out of balance in that regard, you could be dealing with some of those things popping up. Now, those of you who have been so involved in the vastness of your spirituality, and I feel like we can go to the other extreme as well, where all of a sudden everything is spiritual, and we're just meditating, and we're trying to have out-of-body experiences, and we're just basically all over the place, and we're not grounded in our bodies, right? You disconnected from your physical self and what's going on in the physical world that you are still a part of. So I feel like you guys will have a little bit of a different experience to bring you back into the reality, back down to earth, basically. So whichever you are, expect to be put back into alignment of balanced harmony. It's also a week of becoming more comfortable in the unknown. Your old tools, old responses, and old ways of doing things are no longer effective. And this is where the creative side comes in to jumpstart a new way of doing things. So expect to let go of assumptions and preferences. You'll be moved into a deeper state of openness. And, for some of us, openness can be very scary because we feel raw, we feel vulnerable, but it's a good state to be in. Especially when you're just holding on to old stuff. So just let it all up and out and allow yourself to be open to receive. Lots of you block from receiving. Some of you can't even take a compliment. So this is all about openness. And depending on what's going on in your life, this could show up as your life completely falling apart in certain areas. And those of you who have already been through the breaking down phase will start to see more new things manifesting for you this week. Another theme is breaking free of self-imposed limitations, staying stuck or in a rut. Some of you will be going through the pity party stage. It's all good, just don't dwell there because that's part of what's keeping you stuck. But I'm all about it. Spend a weekend feeling sorry for yourself and then pick yourself up and move on. You focusing on the if-onlys or the what-ifs, those are the things that are going to keep you stuck, right? You're too far out in the future, or you're living in the past. You need to be in the moment, and you need to focus on what you can deal with in the moment and move forward. Now, those of you who have been stuck and have already gone through the woe is me drama, well, expect movement this week. You can control your own destiny to an extent, so it's time to get going and make things happen for yourself, and this is a great week to do it because of that creative energy. It will have that momentum for you. This week, some of you could be searching for the truth. For some, it will be about other people and whether they're being honest with you. Others, it will be spiritual truths and understandings. For some, it will be truths about yourself that may be difficult to swallow. And some of you will be trying hard to do the right things for others, while some of you will be trying to do the right thing for yourselves. Some of you will be wanting to be you'll want to be left alone, and you need some me time, and you just want to disconnect from life a little bit. Again, do it. Take the time for yourself, because in the end, you and everyone around you will be better off for you feeling better, right? So what did they say? Happy wife, happy life, or I don't really know what it is, but basically our moods affect other people. So if you're in a good space, you'll be able to help other people a little bit better. Work, for those of you employed, some of you will finally get yourselves out of some unhappy work situations. Look around, there will be opportunities. Some of you will still be working on believing in yourself and building up your confidence to make a change. Some of you will be receiving recognition and kudos for work that you've done. Others will be finding, others will find a success in different ways. Maybe it'll show up in the form of completing a project, maybe some raises, some promotions, a new boss, or you finally find out who took your favorite pen off of your desk. Small successes, whatever it is, little things for everyone will show up, and being organized and productive will be a win this week. Work, for those of you looking for a job, I'm not feeling a whole lot of movement here. I definitely feel like there is movement, but it feels slow going. I feel like there are people on vacation or people just coming back from vacation, so it feels like a slow week. Regardless, keep applying and putting yourself out there. I do feel like there's more hiring around temporary summer jobs. So if you're in the market and just looking for a summer gig or a part-time thing, just, you know, you're not looking for full-time work, I feel like you guys will have better luck this week finding that sort of a job. Love, committed relationships. You could be on two different pages this week. One of you is living in the past, the other in the future. Some of you haven't been connected lately. This is an opportunity to put in the extra effort and rekindle your love. Speaking of rekindling, some of you may have some exes pop up who want to make amends, or they may pop up in memories, stories, or online for you to remember. Either way, those that aren't actually in contact with an ex, I feel like it's just coming up for you to take a look at and maybe reevaluate the demise of the relationship, what your role was, what the other person's role was, what went wrong, what went right, and basically letting go of anything that is holding you back now, because it's linked to that self-imposed limitations, right? So it's taking a look at how something from your past could be affecting your current situation and your future. And this goes for the single people as well. Looking for love, those of you, I'm not feeling too much in the dating department besides an ex possibly showing up in some way. I do feel like this week is more of a reflective time and working through past emotional relationship traumas, also getting clear about what you want, also taking a look at your own behavior. Do you say you want a relationship, but then you never give anyone a chance, or your list of what you want is too finite and, you know, you immediately cut people off before you even get to know them or they even get to know you? You know, how are you keeping yourself from love? I feel like that is something that is going to be popping up for some of you that have been stuck in singledom and where you really feel like you're ready to be dating, but then you're kind of self-sabotaging at the same time. Finances, money won't be a high priority for most this week. You'll be focused on other things. I just feel like there's going to be a lot going on, but money isn't really one of the ones in the forefront of your mind. However, it is a week to be conservative with your money. Don't gamble or go on a big spending spree. If you're looking to invest this week, I feel conservative stocks, bonds, or money markets with good track records is your best bet. And those of you who are wanting to make more money, I do feel like there are opportunities around you that you didn't notice before, and I feel like you'll notice them now. And you'll have that creative energy, and you're going to feel motivated, and you're going to be ready to make things happen this week. Health, I feel some of you going to the doctor for checkups. Some of you are going because there's something going on. Some of you will be starting new rituals like exercise, meditation, acupuncture, or some sort of diet lifestyle change. Some of you will be dealing with back problems this week, and some of you will be dealing with unresolved emotional stuff. Spirituality, some of you will have a mentor come into your life or someone that you can lean on. It just feels like a person that all of a sudden is kind of there for you to be able to bounce your ideas off of, or like-minded in some way, and it will really help. I don't know, I just feel like burdens being lifted off of you. So whether it's a mentor or a friend or just somebody comes into your life that is influential in some way, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a physical encounter. It could be something that you stumble, maybe you stumble across someone online that has an amazing blog that resonates with you or something to that effect. Spirituality, some of you will have, I just said that, duh. And then I feel like some of you are going to be searching for spiritual meaning or getting more involved in the esoteric. Some of you may even dabble in the occult and research some darker belief systems, maybe even witches and things of that nature. Learn and grow. Just be cautious to what you open yourself up to. There are energies out there that will be all too happy to deceive you. So just make sure that you're cautious. Some of you will just begin to feel more social this week and slowly get back to hanging with friends, family, and strangers. So overall, I feel like it's going to be a pretty decent week. I don't feel like it's going to be too dramatic. It could be uncomfortable a couple of times, especially when you have to deal with stuff that's coming up about yourself. But overall, I think everybody will survive it just fine. So that covers this week's predictions. Let's take tonight's caller. Let's see who I have here. I have Ariana in Wellington, New Zealand. How are you?
I'm well, Rebecca. Thank you very much. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. How can I help you this evening?
Oh, well, you did cover quite a bit in that general reading. So, yeah, house moving. I need to find a new house, and also career direction would be good ones.
Oh, okay,
for me.
Perfect. So I actually, as soon as I said your name, the first thing that I kept feeling was positive career and work development. So I feel like maybe you're looking for work right now. Are you moving to a new location but haven't quite found the job that you're looking? Like, I just kind of feel like you're in between.
Yes,
like you're
in between both. Yeah, I have to move out of this house, and also looking at setting up my own kind of business. Yeah.
Okay. So yes, well, I definitely feel like I kept getting like you're on the right path, you're doing all the right things, keep doing what you're doing, and as far as the career with the business side of things, I keep getting that you should go for it. Can I ask you what type of business you're interested in doing or starting?
Yeah, it's psychic stuff, some animal, printing some animal empathy cards, and doing little workshops for people online and in person.
Okay, yeah, I'm getting a really big yes on that. I feel like you need to make income somewhere else as well because you have bills to pay and you're moving. You have a job right now, correct?
No, I don't. I'm based from home and on a government pension, so yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, I felt like you were getting income, so I knew you were there was something coming in order for you to live. But I do feel like you've got to go for this animal. I love it. I mean, besides the cards, I like the workshop idea very much. I'm resonating strongly with that. And I feel... Go ahead.
No, I'm listening. That's all good.
Okay. And I feel like it will happen fairly quickly once you actually move and you get yourself settled in. But I feel like the community that you're moving into, the area, I feel like there's going to be easy access for you to be able to do workshops. And I actually feel like it's very almost animal oriented in some way. So I feel like besides what kind of workshops are you going to be doing? Are you going to be helping people take care of their animals, or what is the workshop that you're planning on doing?
It was more around women's stuff, actually. And, doing like a little menopause course, because, it's not just a pause in men, is it?
Right. I like that. You should make that your slogan. Seriously, that is perfect. Yes, that should be your tagline. Okay, so I like this. Okay, let me just feel out what kind of a timeline. So I feel if you make the contacts, you get I feel like there's a local, I don't know if it's a community center, or I just feel like there's a local gathering spot where you would be able to meet a lot of like-minded women and be able to get the word out fairly quickly. Like, I feel like this is going to happen very quickly as soon as you start really putting your energy into it. And I feel like you could have your first workshop in September. With the workshop, are you going to incorporate animals into that as what do you call like emotional support animals type thing?
Well, yeah, I could, because animals are dear to my heart, and they are very, very helpful for us as well. And they're transitioning and getting more sensitive as well,
Right.
Not just us.
I really am feeling a strong connection between you merging the two. Whatever that looks like, even if you just have one animal there, I don't know. I just feel like what you're going to do is going to grow, but I feel like you're connecting animals, the women, and I feel like you'll have a bunch of other topics besides the menopause. I feel like there will be other things that you're going to be able to incorporate so that you can do sort of like a curriculum almost within the workshops. And again, I feel like it's going to happen quickly.
Yeah.
Have you started doing any work on it yet?
I have, yeah. I'm just making notes and writing down as the information comes through, doing a bit of research, you know, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay. And so do you already know where you're moving to? Because wherever you're moving to, I just feel like this town is going to be really, really important in what is going to happen with your business. I just feel like it plays a role. And do you know where you're already moving to?
No, I don't. I've just found out and I need to move, and I have to decide whether to move on my own or move in with another person. And it could possibly be a move of, you know, to another little town.
See, I'm feeling the move to another little town. I don't feel like it's where you're at. The other person, is that other person in the town? Because I'm not really feeling you moving in with someone.
Okay. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I just feel like maybe it's a temporary thing, but I really, really feel like everything is going to fall into place for you quickly. And I feel like the move to a different town, like this town, I just feel is going to be very supportive. It feels maybe more of a, I don't want to say spiritual, but I just feel like it's a more helping community. People are looking out for each other. They want to get involved. It's more of a community energy that I feel, and I feel like you're going to fit in there perfectly, and you're going to make a connection with someone that is going to have the space where you can do your workshop. And I feel like you're going to hit it off with this person, and it will turn into a little bit of a collaborative effort as well. The town, this is probably going to mean absolutely nothing to you, but I keep getting 2 towns over.
2 towns over. Okay. No, it does mean a lot to me. Because I'm surrounded by little towns, so yeah. That's cool.
It's like, leave your town, then there's a town after your town to the next town, but I don't know what direction. Like, I just keep getting 2 towns over. How quickly do you have to be out of your place?
In about 4 months, within 4 months.
Okay, so you have some time. I still feel like it's all going to happen very quickly. And it could actually go where you find the location first where you can do your workshop and your card. Well, the cards and stuff you could do from home, but the workshop, and then maybe you end up moving to that town. So it could be something, it could be in that order versus you moving first and then finding the workshop location. So maybe utilize both avenues of finding a town to live in. I feel like you could do a workshop by September. I also feel like you could be moved by September, possibly October. I have 30 seconds. Do you want to ask me a quick question before we have to go?
Okay, let's ask the man thing. Is there anything on the horizon? I'm through my menopause, darling. I've had menopause in men, so is there someone?
Well, I do feel like you've got love coming. I do feel like you have love coming your way as well, and that's all going to fall in line with when you do your business and you're meeting new people. I feel like I just keep getting patience. It's a little slow going, but it's going to happen, and you'll have it happen this year where you meet someone. Everything's going to fall into place.
Hi, I'm Faye, and thanks for watching Moonstruck. And now, back to A1R on the air, Psychic Talk Radio, now on Moonstruck TV, enlightening television.
Hello, everyone. I'm Colleen Van Der Zijden, and this is Creating an Inspired Life. I'm so happy to be here with you today, sharing some thoughts that I have. I'm a registered medium at Lilydale Assembly, and I do want to mention Lilydale Assembly right now. If you've ever considered going there, it's the largest spiritualist community in the world, and literally people from all over the world go there to meet with mediums and take workshops just to have some peace. If you've ever wanted to go, you should check out their website, lilydaleassembly.org, and you can see everything that's happening. We are now in the summer season. We're about 2 weeks in. We've got about 7 weeks to go. So you might want to go there and just check it out. So I did want to mention that to you. I'm also a certified spiritual life coach. And as a life coach, I help people take action, basically to solve their problems so that they can create the life they want to have. And it's a wonderful thing to do. And I do it pretty much every day, helping other people get to where they want to be. Today's coaching tip is all about the 3 rules of contentment. And when you think about contentment, what is it we're really looking for in life? You know, in our lives, we tend to get worked up over our problems and our situations. We might be complaining about the unfairness of life, and we tend to look at the negative, focusing on the negative, rather than counting the blessings that we have right in front of us right now at this time. We let our emotions get the better of us, affecting us and making us feel really negative. We might be worrying about the past or the future, so many different ways we experience our lives. And so many of them are not very pleasant if we're not careful. Every minute we give away to something other than what's happening right here in this moment, we're actually giving away part of our chances of getting to contentment. I like to say, you know, to choose being happy, figure out what you want to do what you want to do that would make you happy. But really, happiness is something I don't think that can be sustainable all day long. Really, what we want is a form of happiness, which is contentment, where we want to live the life that's peaceful and we're satisfied with it. We're satisfied with our lives and we appreciate our life and the experiences we have. And it's an important goal, I think, to strive for. I was talking to a client the other day and she said to me, "Are we ever satisfied?" And that was when we were discussing the weather. Of course, that's what we always complain about, isn't it? We complain about the weather. It's not too warm, it's not too cold, whatever it is. You know, when we start not being satisfied with life, we start wanting our lives to be a different way. We want more money. We want more stuff. You know, we might go buy certain things because we think it makes us happy. We want people to be different. We want them to act differently than who they show themselves to truly be. We want our problems to be different, or maybe we just wish they would all go away and we wouldn't have to deal with them. It seems that we spend a lot of our time wanting our lives to be something other than what they are right now. When we're content, we're actually happy. We accept ourselves, who we are, what we have. It's that satisfaction. We understand we can still have that contentment even with the problems that we have in our lives. And we don't let those problems negatively affect us as much. You know, of course, they're going to affect us a little bit. And I know somebody out there is going, is it possible to be content with who I am, what I have at this moment, because I've got this problem and I've got that problem? And the answer really is yes. There is a way to have that contentment, even with all your problems. This is a big topic, of course, so I'm going to be covering just a small amount of this information. But if you can think about it, this will help you create more contentment in your life. And there's many different ways to get to contentment. But I found a simple way for me to just get back out of the negative and back into that sense of contentment. And I call them the 3 rules of contentment. And it's acceptance, detachment, and appreciation. It's really a matter of choice. You choose if you want to have contentment. You have to consciously choose and say, you know what, I want to have more contentment. When you choose to accept your life as it is, you'll be able to move into appreciating what you have and who you are. We all have problems, yes, and they do affect us in many ways. But that doesn't mean we have to stay in that energy and we don't have to remain attached to that negativity. As soon as you start feeling negative about anything, no matter what it is, that's affecting your contentment, okay? Anytime you start to get a little bit off and you start thinking, oh, this is horrible, that's horrible, think about what you're not accepting, because that means you're not accepting something in your life. Maybe you're not accepting who you are. Maybe you're criticizing yourself. Are you wanting people or situations to be different? It's that wanting thing again. If any of these things are attached to negative emotions, that means you're not accepting some aspect of your life, some way that your life is showing up right now at this time. So rather than wanting life to be different and criticizing yourself for not being good enough, whatever it is, you want to make a different choice. You want to choose to accept who you are and how your life is at this moment. Problems and all, just accept it. It's just the way it is. If you allow these negative situations or negative people, whatever it is, to accept you or affect you, you need to accept that they're there, but choose then to detach from that energy. Okay, so you have to accept it, then you have to detach from the energy. You don't have to stay in the negative. And what do we do when we're not accepting something? We're resisting it, we're complaining, we're whining, we're moaning, we're worrying, all of those things. If you accept it, it's easier to detach. And you can detach from the negatives, and then you can move on into appreciating what is there. And people say, well, I can't appreciate anything. I can't appreciate this. I can't appreciate that because this happened in my life. And yes, I understand we have stuff, but you can still appreciate the other things. The other night, I was actually looking out the window in the middle of the night, and I saw the most beautiful stars out there. And I remember thinking, look at how beautiful that is. You can appreciate things like that. It doesn't have to be big stuff, you know? If you start looking for those little things to appreciate, you'll have a greater sense of contentment. Once you accept and detach, it's easier to start looking for the positives. I know somebody out there is still going, oh, no, that's too hard. You don't understand. I do understand because I've been there exactly where you are. I can be the biggest whining and complaining person of everybody. So I know how it is, but that's part of the reason why I have these strategies to get myself out of it. All the stuff I tell you is everything I've used, every single one of them. You know, so if you want to move into contentment, that might mean, though, you're going to have to give up whining and complaining about your life. You'll have to stop blaming other people or situations for how you feel. You'll have to stop your brain from looking for the negative and shift it so it can find the positive. You're going to have to stop wanting things to be different than they are. Life has all that difficult stuff, all the difficult situations. People will continually fail to meet your expectations. It's just the way it is. When your emotions get triggered, that's the time you need to look. I have a friend who was going through a rough time in her relationship. She kept trying to change the person to make him into somebody he wasn't. And when she realized after much effort at trying to change him. We all know you can't change somebody else, but you know, we still try, don't we? And once she kept trying and realized it was not going to change, she was able to move into that state of acceptance. That's just the way he is. And when she recognized that, she was able to detach from the negative feelings she was experiencing. She stopped taking things so personally and was able to move into appreciation in other parts of her life. Now, here's a little bit of a trickier part, because appreciation, detachment, and acceptance all have another layer as well. It's not just accepting others, it's accepting and recognizing ourselves. Although she could accept who he was, his behavior was not acceptable to her. It was important for her to recognize her responsibility in creating her own happiness and to recognize what was important to her. So that just because you accept somebody for who they are doesn't mean you have to stay with them. You know, sometimes when we're in a relationship, we think we should put up with everything. That's not necessarily the case. By getting that realization that this behavior was not acceptable for her, she was able to move forward in the relationship and make different choices, choices that would reflect what was important for her in terms of her relationship. When she started accepting her own needs, because how many times do we deny those? Accepting her own needs, she was able to detach from the negative emotions and was able to figure out a different solution and started appreciating actually her ability to make these choices. True contentment comes that feeling of peace, satisfaction in life. Even with the problems, you can still be satisfied with how your life is going and everything and how you feel. That all comes from coming back to who you are, who you want to be, being true to yourself, honoring and respecting yourself, accepting who you are, accepting your needs, accepting your boundaries, those things, the things that are important to you. Because when you accept yourself, you accept other people, it's easier to get out of that negativity and back into that state of contentment and finding that appreciation. So remember, if you're experiencing anything negative, anything at all, just try this and see. Is there some area where you're not accepting what's going on in your life. If there is, you've got to figure out a way to start to realize, that's the way life is sometimes. Then you want to detach from the negativity, detach from the emotions, detach from the beliefs that are in your way, detach from your habitual reactions. There's all sorts of things you can detach from, and then you can move into that state of gratitude and appreciation. That is my coaching tip of the day. That's a kind of a fun one, and something that I think we tend to forget about. We always think we need to be happy, 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 and that's not necessarily the case. You can find me at psychicmediumcolleen.com, and you can also follow me on Facebook, Colleen Vanderzijden, medium and self-empowerment coach. And I would love to hear from you. And we will move on to our first caller now, who is Trissa from Colorado. Trissa, how are you?
Hi, I'm pretty good, thank you.
Oh, how nice. I see you're from Erie in Colorado. I actually play in the Erie Philharmonic in Erie, Pennsylvania, however. Isn't that interesting?
Wow,
yeah, that's kind of cool, isn't it? And so how can I help you tonight?
I was hoping maybe if you could connect with my mom.
Okay. I am from a woman coming in. Okay. Tracy, you said her name is? Okay. So as I'm connecting with this person, I am getting some interesting body situation things going on. And I do get feelings in my body when I'm connecting with the spirit. It's just the way it is. I don't know what most of them mean, unfortunately, but I am feeling stuff in the chest area, and my mouth actually feels interesting. So I don't know what that means. But when she's coming in... tell me.
She had lung cancer. No? Okay.
She had lung cancer?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Okay. That's okay. You can say things. I don't mind if you say things.
Oh, I can. Okay, I thought you said don't tell you. I thought that's...
No. Sorry. No, you can tell me things.
Yes, she passed from lung cancer in 2012. I just got 5 teeth pulled today.
Oh, I tell you, it is amazing to me every time I talk to Spirit, because they'll say things that pertain to them and to you, and sometimes we just have to sort out where it goes. So I'm glad you know what I'm talking about. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, no wonder she is here, because, I do get that I want to take care of you vibration. I want to make sure everything's going okay with you. So many things she wants to talk about right now with you. Before I get too far into that, are you having any kind of headaches or pain in your head from what happened with your teeth being pulled?
Yeah, I've all day pretty much the pain medicine. I mean, it's numbing it, but it's still there.
Yeah, because I'm feeling a bit of pain in my head.
5 teeth is five teeth. My whole face is just totally right now.
Oh, I bet it is. That does not sound comfortable to me at all. And this is funny. She's going into mother mode now because she wants to make sure you're eating and drinking the right things. And I know you're probably well aware of what you're supposed to be eating and drinking, but I want to just mention that for you because she wants to make sure you're doing the right thing. She doesn't want you to lose your strength. She's talking about how happy actually she is to be here talking to you today. She gives me the impression when she was here in the physical, she was really a lovely person. I feel like she's one of those very supportive people. Is she very supportive?
Yes, she was. She was also a motivational speaker.
Okay. No wonder I like talking to her.
She spoke at the Capitol. She was on the news a couple of times.
Awesome. Okay, that's awesome. And I have to say, I do like her energy because there's a lot of stuff there. But what's coming through right now is mostly wanting to take care of you and wanting to acknowledge the changes you've been making in your life. You must have made some good changes lately because she's giving me the impression you've been making. You have? Awesome. She's talking about you making different choices. Okay. I want to know, because I'm getting the impression that you've had to, how can I put this tactfully, clear out some people around you that were not so supportive. Did you have to get rid of some people?
I just, within the last 2 days, me and my sister are not currently talking anymore.
Okay, well, I don't want to get rid of her. So, that wouldn't be good. We all have.
She's a very negative. She's always been a very negative. And it was funny because I had a Facebook memory pop up, and it was a very negative one that we were arguing over Facebook 6 years before on the same day.
And
Oh.
I had just messaged her to come and visit me, and it turned into a big old thing, and I'm a horrible person, I guess.
Yeah. Well, you know, she's always been a little bit, how could I put this politely, on the edge here. You know, she kind of likes having drama. She kind of likes stirring things up, doesn't she?
She really does. Yes, that's what I was going to say. She finds it.
Yeah, well, she likes it. You know, I don't get that same impression from you. From what your mom is telling me, she's telling me you're somebody who's trying to do the best you can, who's trying to maintain connections with people and everything, even though I do feel people moving away from you because I feel like they're not good for you.
Okay.
Yeah. So if that ends up happening, you know, just go with it because I feel those changes, and there's so many, and it just seems like a lot of stuff is changing around you. But she's given me the impression things are working out better.
Okay. Well, I almost died in March. I had a tubal pregnancy. And since then, I feel like I've been awakened almost. I've actually, like, I only sleep 4 hours a night. And I'm up all day and I'm refreshed. I just have a more positive outlook on life. I'm more spiritual. I've been exercising. I've been meditating. All this within the last, 2 months. I got my pre-baby body back after 10 years. Within a month or two after my surgery. Just within the last, 2 months, just my whole everything is done a 360.
Interesting. That's so interesting you say that because awakening is actually one of the topics I teach about. And how
really?
people, very interesting, how people will have an experience, whatever it might be, and all of a sudden they just realize that life is so much more than they thought it was.
Yep.
And they realize...
I've always known. My mom was trying to get me into all of that stuff, and she said I had gifts and all that stuff. But I was young and I thought that she was more or less not all there in the head. Well, you know, you don't awaken until it's time for you to awaken. So this must have been your timing. You know, I can try to convince people, you know, till I keel over myself, that they need to wake up and realize what's out there and the connections they have to everyone, everything, and all that. They can say they will. They are awakening, but they just, you can't really explain it. No, you can't. You can't. We can try and try. And well, that's very interesting. Although so much stuff here, I would have fun talking to you for a while, I bet. But I don't have all that much time, unfortunately. But there is the feeling of you starting, you know, to connecting with the right people, connecting with the right things, and all of that. I love the changes. No wonder she's talking about the changes in your life. Interesting. Oh, yeah. Very interesting. I do want to ask you, have you been keeping a journal during this time of insights, things you've learned, those experiences? No, I should be, though. I just never can find a notebook when I need it. Okay, you need to go find a notebook and you need to start writing some things down, because what's going to happen is there'll come a time where you don't feel quite as connected and you're going to think, oh, did I make that all up or something? And if you have things written down, it doesn't have to be, you know, real time. You can say, well, this happened to me, and, you know, just kind of stream of consciousness for you. That will help you. You look back and go, oh, yeah, I did have that happen, and all these other things. Okay. Before I let you go, do you have some piece of jewelry that's your mom's? Because I want to be holding something, a piece of jewelry. Not jewelry. I have 2 shirts of hers. I wish I had her jewelry. My dad won't give us anything. Well, I barely was able to salvage the shirt. I feel like you're going to have this jewel. I feel a piece of jewelry. Okay, so maybe there'll be a way that it'll happen somehow. I feel that just really strongly. I want to hold it because it feels like there's that physical connection to her, but it's also a connection to the spirituality as well. So you want to definitely look at that. I'm thinking I might need to get a piece of turquoise jewelry. Because that's what she had, a couple of turquoise pieces. And she liked really big, gaudy rings and necklaces of just hunks of stone.
Oh, nice, nice.
I didn't.
Oh, good.
I didn't know the meanings.
Oh, yeah, you can look all
Until
this stuff.
now.
There's so much to investigate, but thank God we have Google and we can go online and find all these things out. Just follow follow whatever you feel. You know, if all of a sudden you get something about stones, just go look it up. If you get something about animal totems, just go look it up. Whatever it is, because she'll be giving you nudges in the direction you need to go. Well, Trissa,
I've gotten thank you so much.
Yes, it was so nice talking to you. Congratulations on your waking up. It's awesome.
Yes,
absolutely
thank
awesome.
You so much.
You're welcome. And that was Trissa from Colorado. And next we're going to move to Melanie from Texas. Melanie, how are you today?
I am good. Thank you so much.
Ah, you sound good. How can I help you today?
I was wondering if I could ask you, which would you prefer? I actually could do either thing. Do you do mediumship or more psychic or both? I have questions for both.
I can do both. Since we only have such a short number of minutes here, I usually tell people if they have something specifically they want to talk about, we just get to it rather than my going, well, you feel like this and I've got this, you know, and just kind of,
absolutely,
you know. So just go right to whatever you want to ask.
I would like to ask if you can give me any insight on my business.
Oh, interesting.
Or career path. Or how you think or feel things will go.
Yeah, okay, this is what I'm feeling, and tell me if this is accurate, because I'm feeling with the business. You must have one of your own. I feel that there's some stuff that has been shifting that has been making you question your direction in it. Is that true?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, because I'm feeling questioning, I'm feeling the direction. It's almost as though what you thought it was going to be, how you thought it would work, isn't really working. I feel like it was, but I feel like it's not now. Is that accurate too?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Interesting. Isn't that interesting? And there's that feeling of thinking, okay, has it run its course? Should I start something new? Should I do this? Should I do that? And I feel the questions. I feel so many questions about this. I'm feeling you staying with that business, but I'm feeling modifications with it. Okay, I feel like you're looking for new angles, new ways to get your information out there to people, new ways to present information that shows other people really clearly how you're going to help them, how it's going to make things better for them. And it feels like to me it's a tweaking of your message, a simplifying of the message. I have no idea what you do. I'm not getting that information, and that's okay. But it feels like we have to tweak the information just a little bit. It's almost as though you have another specialty. Are you contemplating changing specialties just slightly?
Not necessarily, just possibly using it in a different way, maybe.
Okay. That would make sense then, too. Go ahead. You can tell me more about it. That's fine.
I'm just trying to figure out a different way to interact with people. Get more people, I guess more traffic in versus, or actually get the message out there and reach more people versus waiting for them to find me.
Yes, definitely. And that definitely feels right to me in terms of especially the tweaking of the message. Do you, what I'm seeing right now is, I don't know what we call these, online blogs, online things where you can comment on other people's information. Do you ever do anything like that where, you know, you see a comment that has something to do with what you do and you respond to what they say and then somehow get a plug-in for yourself? Have you done any of those yet?
I actually have started doing that, yes, ma'am. Just recently, though, literally like in the past 3 or 4 days, like seriously recently.
Okay. And that feels very good to me. It feels like something that's going to get your name out in different places. Do you also have your own blog or your own place where you put out your information and share it everywhere?
Yes, ma'am. I have every social media available. I'm on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I have a website. I have a blog.
Excellent. Good. And one more thing. Is your message so simple that you can say it in a short sentence?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Even better. Awesome. And you figured out a way to present it in such a way that people recognize they can trust you, that you empathize with them, you understand their problems. You're doing all that too, right?
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Okay, excellent. And I am feeling that like that is making a difference. So all of these outreaches and stuff that you're doing, especially that one with the forums and all of that, that's going to really make a difference. It does take a little bit of time before it starts to catch up with you, but I feel people reaching out to you. I also feel people inviting you to present at different panels or whatever we want to call those.
Yes,
Okay, good. Excellent. So it feels to me like you're in the right places. You're doing the right things. And that's making a difference. I want to pair you up with someone else and to do a joint experience. I'm not saying to have it be a joint business, like, add a partner. Not saying that. I want a joint experience where you go someplace with somebody else and the two of you together make some kind of a workshop or something like this.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. So keep that in mind too, because you'll find the exact right people, and that's going to help. I'm being told I only have like about 70 seconds left, so unfortunately I'm going to have to let you go very quickly. But it's feeling to me that things are going to shift for you, and actually I don't even want to go that far away. October, November, and I feel things really starting to pick up. Be prepared, because I feel like it could get a little bit overwhelming of how much it picks up. Oh, my goodness. Well, this will be fun.
Absolutely. That's super exciting.
Okay.
I thank you so very much for your time and your energy, and much love to you, and thank you very much.
Thank you, and good luck with everything. I'll be rooting for you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And that was Melanie from Texas. Isn't it interesting, all the things that we have out there in our lives? Everybody has something different. So this week, just try to find your contentment. Try to appreciate what you have. Try to accept what you have and detach from the crap. And I'm Colleen Vander Zyden, and this was Creating an Inspired Life. I'm so happy you were watching and listening today. And you can find me at psychicmediumcolleen.com or on Facebook, Colleen Vander Zyden, Medium Self-Empowerment Coach. And I'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Happy Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on what part of the world you're in. It's Terry Lynn Boyle. I'm the Vancouver Island medium here with you to spend another Tuesday night. And welcome to beautiful Vancouver Island. Here we are. I'm out on the deck. The weather is gorgeous. The sun is shining. Well, it's actually coming down a little bit now, but you know, it's still absolutely beautiful out here, and I love where I live, and I love my life. So, one thing I want to start out with today, first I want to apologize because I know that they ran a rewind of my a rerun of my show last week because I was on holidays and had planned on doing my show from beautiful Tofino on the other side of the island, and I kind of got into holiday mode and forgot what day it was, and I just completely didn't show up. So, my apologies to my amazing, wonderful, and the beautiful Constance, and also to Dave, who is that wonderful voice that you hear back there that goes, and now it's time for Terry Lynn Boyle. Yeah, that's Dave. Anyway, my apologies to both of them for last week, and to you for having to listen to a rerun. I do apologize. But it was my anniversary, and I was on holidays, and I can come up with all kinds of excuses to justify it. But I won't, okay? I have had a very, very good holiday, graduation and visitors and trips to Texas, and just it's been wonderful. So I'm very grateful for all of that. As many of you know, I own a store called the Amethyst Forest. And during the winter, that's probably where I do my show from because it doesn't have the pretty backdrop and it's cold outside in the winter, so I don't want to be out here on the deck. Makes sense, right? Anyway, we've had a bit of a challenge over the last 2 or 3 weeks. We had the theft of a beautiful, about probably 7-inch high and big round, about probably 10 to 15 pounds labradorite Buddha head. And someone just came into the store and distracted us, and the other guy took it and ran out the door. And also a rose quartz, it's kind of Indian skull, which was hand carved also, very beautiful things. So I guess I only say this because this has been quite a challenge for me. I don't understand how people can do these things. I'm very generous with my time, with the things that I have in the store. And for someone to, I don't know, I don't get it. So what I am trying to do, I guess what I'm trying to get through right now is just trying to find the gratitude in it and trying not to despise these people, because really I want to despise them. But that's not going to make me any better. It's not going to help me out. It's not going to raise my vibration. So all I know is that I am trying to deal with the fact that their karma is on them. And then I thought, well, maybe this is my karma, and I was a bad person in the last life. And so this is supposed to happen to me. And I decided that's not true. So it just didn't feel right. So karma will get them, okay? But when you're out and about, I want you to think about the other people in the world. And I want you to be kind to them, no matter what the circumstances and no matter what the situation. How people treat you is on them, and how you react to it is on you. So the best thing to do is to make sure that you're the one that's being kind and not stealing the Buddha head or whatever it is. How people treat you is on them, and how you react to it is on you. So I keep telling myself this, and I keep telling myself that karma will be theirs. So, oh no, wait, it's all going to be good. The store's doing great. We're not going anywhere, and my Buddha skull will probably, I figure what they're going to do is just take my Buddha skull and put it on my doorstep, and I'll walk up one day, and there it will be. And that's what Chris thinks, too. She's my manager. And the Peanut Gallery. Hello, Chris. Hi. Say it louder. Hi. Okay, that's better. Okay. And you've had a good week.
I've had a great week.
She's
My
had a great
girls
week.
at home.
Yay! Big shout out to Desiree and Brooklyn. They are Chris's girls, and they had been staying with her mom in Edmonton until she got settled. And here you go. Now she's here with her girls and happy as can be, and it's just one big happy family, and I'm happy too to meet them, and it's just great. Yay! So, let's go on to a caller now, because I think I've rambled on quite a bit, haven't I? Have I? I have?
Yeah.
I know it's very out of character for me to ramble, but any of you that listen to my show, oh wait, I do have shout out. Cody, hi, that's my nephew in Texas. Oh, beautiful Whitney in Arkansas and little Jace, hi, if you're listening. Oh God, my sister Janine, hi Janine. I guess that's all. I'm not that popular, I guess. I'm just kidding. I know, because Misty wants to talk to us, and Misty is from Hesperia, California. Am I saying that right, Misty?
Yes.
I am? Good. And where is that?
It's near the beach. It's like, I live like an hour and a half away from like Huntington Beach.
Oh, from Huntington Beach. Okay,
Yeah.
I have been there. It's very, very lovely. And you have some very pretty lifeguards too. Just saying.
Oh.
Of the male version. So, and you're having lovely weather and everything is fabulous and good. And how can I help you tonight, Misty?
Yes, very hot here. I would love to connect with my loved ones that have passed.
Okay. Your mom's mom has passed?
No.
Who's the one that you didn't call grandma? You called her something. Did you? Is there a like in Canada we say Nona a lot because they have a lot of Ukrainians.
I called my great grandma Grandma Ann.
Okay, that's who it is. Because she's telling me, and is this on your mom's side though?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Because the first person I pick up, it's a grandmother figure on your mother's side, but you didn't call her grandma. It was a different name.
No.
So
yeah.
And she died. You were young, obviously. I feel not just because I'm psychic. It makes common sense that you were young because she was your great grandmother, and you're not 5 years old. So, so you were young when she passed, and she wants to know that. Do you have a daughter?
Yes.
She was. Is there what? Pardon me.
I have two daughters.
Oh, okay, but the oldest one, or maybe the youngest one. Did you name one of them a similar name to what she's named? Like, is their middle name?
No.
Where's their middle name from? What is the middle name got to do with her, or is it your middle name?
I was actually born on the same day as she was. We share the same birthday.
It's something that was the same, and that's it. Yeah, okay, that's perfect. Because she tells me that you're very much like her, and she also says that you she says that she's very proud. This is why I asked about the daughter, because she told me that she's very proud of the way that you raise your daughters, because you do it your way, not how everybody else thinks you should.
Yeah.
And you've gotten into a little bit of trouble like this, because you're very adamant about, no, they're not going to do that. No, I don't want them to do that, so they're not going to. But it's good for them. Not in my eyes, it's not. So I'm not going to do that. So she says that she's very proud of you for sticking up for your daughters the way that you do. And the youngest one, she says, she looks exactly like you did as a child.
Yes, she does.
Yeah. She says that she also will have the attitude of your teenage years, except she's saying she's going to be like you, but not quite that bad, so you have a good one. And I don't mean that you were a bad teenager. You know what I mean, because she's saying it to me, to you, right?
You had a few challenging years in your teenage life, shall we say?
Yes.
And we'll leave it at that. And also now, okay, I have a male energy here, but I feel like it's a younger male. And actually, it could be a female that had a bit of masculine energy.
I have two friends that passed away. They were brother and sister.
Okay. There is a lot of love there for you. I want to start crying right now, and usually what I do is I take on their emotions, right? And I just want to start crying because but I don't feel sad. I feel a lot of joy, like I get to talk to you, yay, kind of thing, you know. And it's been a while. And oh, why did they say they're stupid? What is the stupid comment? I'm not sure about this.
I don't know.
Is it like a, okay, is there like one of those shirts that says, you know, I'm with stupid with the finger pointing? Does that mean anything?
Yeah. No, I don't know. They were like goofballs, though.
Okay, because they're just, I feel like they're very, very goofy, and it's like they would wear that shirt that goes, I'm with stupid, you know? And no, you're not, I am, you know, and very big practical jokers. You find a lot of dimes laying around? Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
I'm sorry.
So do you find a lot? Okay. Do you find a lot of dimes lying around?
I do, but I always think they're my kids.
No, honey, they're not. Those are your two friends. Okay? They just want you to remember the good times that you had. And even though you were young, it's still, they say that we were partiers, man. We partied, you know, and it's I don't know. I almost want to go back to the Garth Brooks, or not Garth Brooks, Garth and Wayne and Garth, the, you know, party on, dude. You know, that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, Michael was like that.
Yeah, that's where I want to go with this, and it was always just fun just to be around him, and he hated for anybody to be upset or crying. So he says there were times that he had to make you laugh. But he says that it was never hard to make you laugh, though. Did you date him? Did you two kind of have like maybe you didn't date, but you liked each other or something? Was there a little thing between the two of you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because he keeps telling me how pretty you are, and that you have, but you've grown into a beauty. And he says in your old age. So. Anyway, so we've got about 2 minutes left here, Misty. Is there something specific you'd like to know or anything?
I was wondering, like, I found some pictures. Like, I just got married last year, and I seen like some of the pictures, and I was just wondering, like, who was at my wedding.
Do you know someone named Mary that's passed? Or Marie, Mary, Marie? It could be a middle name. I feel like she has like curly, not curly, but brown hair, probably about this length, maybe in a shag, and about shoulder length in a shag, and I believe she passed from cancer. Or she was there, and also and I don't know what the relationship is with you, but with her, but she feels very close to me, to you, and she felt that she needed to be in some of the pictures, and that's what she did. So
I have to think who it is, because I don't know.
and I keep getting like a Mary, a Marie, M.A., Margaret, something along those lines. And also, I know your great-grandmother was there. Is there a Carol or a Carolyn?
I don't think so.
I don't know. That name just came into my head, so I needed to ask. But your great-grandmother was there for sure on your mother's side. On your dad's side, do you have an aunt that's passed?
I have an uncle, but not an aunt. And my grandma, too.
Pardon me?
And a grandma, too.
And your grandma on your dad's side also?
Yeah.
Okay. You had 4 females that were there that have passed over, and there was 2 males that were there. One of them is it's like a father figure, but I don't feel it's your dad. I want to say that maybe your dad had a best friend that had passed away.
His brother.
Okay, or an uncle. It's something who was close to your dad. He was there, and then I've got all kinds of names coming into my head, and I'm not sure why. I get an Ed and a Ralph for some reason. I'm not sure who the other second man was that was there. And then the women, your great grandmother was there, and then your grandmother on your dad's side's passed. She was there. And then I believe the friend that the brother and sister that we just had, no. I don't know, maybe. I can't really tell. So, but yeah, that's who was there. And those are the beautiful, like, it's almost like I see like a light, like a ray of light coming down, and I see little orbs. So look into the different pictures and count how many are there. Okay, because I think there was a total of 6 spirits. No, there was more than that. But anyway, okay.
Okay.
Okay, Misty. You have a wonderful day. Thanks so much for calling in.
You too. Thank you.
Okay. Bye, love.
Okay. Bye.
Oh, always fun to talk to people all around the world. California. Let me see. Who else have I talked to? Scotland, Australia, New Zealand. Woohoo! Everywhere. I've been everywhere, man. On the radio. Anyway, next we have Tiffany in Dallas, Texas. Are you there, Tiffany?
I'm here. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How is Dallas? Very hot.
Oh, yeah. But it's nice, though. It's a nice place to visit. You should try it sometime.
I was there 3 weeks ago.
Oh, cool.
I lived in Texas for 15 years. So I lived up in Amarillo.
Awesome.
I went to Texas Tech in Lubbock. So,
awesome.
But I flew into Dallas and rented a car and drove up to Amarillo. And I tell you what, when I opened up the door and walked out of the airport, I felt like I walked into an oven. Okay. This Canadian girl melts. So it was a little...
Oh, yeah. You're not used to that weather, huh?
Yeah, I just wish I could pick the parts of my body that would melt. So, how can I help you tonight, Tiffany?
Well, seeing if you have messages for me, or, I think I'm overcoming some emotional challenges, and I just want to know if I'm going to continue to get better, and if I can eventually get off of Zoloft and stuff. Will I get better? I don't know, and any other messages you have.
Okay. So I feel that you have a lot of chaos around your life, and it's around your head kind of thing, right? So the one thing that I really want you to do, I feel like you've really been working hard to calm things down a bit. So continue doing that. Are you meditating?
Yes, I am. I need to do more, but I am doing that.
Yeah.
Yes.
But even 5 minutes a day, honey. Just go out and sit for 5 minutes and, listen to nature, which, in Dallas, I don't know if you're in town or out of town, but, you hear lots of vehicles. That's fine. Let those sounds come to you, okay? Just sit there quietly and allow sounds to come to you, okay? And think about yourself off of the Zoloft, okay? Off of any kind of whatever you don't want to be taking. think about yourself in that way and how it would be if that's, you know, what would you act like in that way? And don't think of it in a negative way, okay? It's like wanting to quit smoking, okay? So just start picturing yourself as a non-smoker and start thinking of yourself as a non-smoker. I feel that you have been, you're very kind-hearted, and you're very, very passive. You know, I feel like you've allowed people to take advantage of you quite a bit. And you've become very overwhelmed over the last couple of years. And I also feel like you're also having like a spiritual awakening or because you're very intuitive also. So just remember to breathe. That is the biggest thing. Mm-hmm. Remember to breathe. I have an app on my phone that goes onto my watch that about 12 times a day it dings me and goes, breathe. And I'll tell you, it has helped me much, right? Because that's what we do. We don't keep ourselves calm. We defend ourselves. A couple of us have been going through that last part. We defend ourselves, and we don't need to defend ourselves. Okay? You don't owe anybody an explanation. This is you and you alone, okay? We're hard on ourselves because we feel like we don't do enough. Oh, well, I'm meditating for, 30 minutes a day, but I should be meditating for 45. Okay? Mm-hmm. It's okay. Be easier on yourself and stop expecting yourself to be perfect, my dear. All right? Patience is definitely a virtue, okay? Give yourself another year. And I want you to be able to look back and remember this radio show and this 5-minute reading and laugh and go, oh my God, she was right. Because in a year's time, I feel like you'll do really, really well. You've started now to stand up for yourself, and you stand taller because it's like you're prouder of yourself. You're like, I am me, and I'm gonna be who I am. And it doesn't really matter what anybody else says. You don't need to defend yourself. You don't need to try and justify why you do things. You know who you are, don't you?
Starting to figure that out, or still figuring that out.
And you will figure that out until the day you die. You will never figure out who you are completely, but you will figure out who you want to be. And then that's what you work towards, my dear. Okay? All that has happened in the past, I want you to be grateful for. And I want you to turn around and look at your past and say, past, you helped me to be who I am today. And you be thankful for them. You be thankful for all of those jerks that you dated, number one. And you be thankful for all of the people that have taken advantage of you. Because they taught you how to stand up for yourself, didn't they? You're very strong with intuition. Have you started to did you start reading oracle cards or something?
No, never try those. I'm not sure if I wanted to try those. I didn't try the psychic readings for like 10 years because I didn't want to be messing with the wrong energies or something. I don't know if I'm going to get into those. I've been into the stones a couple years or a year or so. So that's what I've been going through is the stones, healing stones.
Yeah, make sure you use your crystals, okay? Do you carry amethyst with you?
I do sometimes, yes. I have a whole collection my husband has spoiled me with.
Lovely. Amethyst is very calming, but also for whatever reason I keep being told that you need labradorite and green aventurine.
The green aventurine is my favorite. That's what has gotten me into crystals because it turned warm in my hand one time when I was meditating. So that is my favorite. What was the other one?
Labradorite.
Lavenderite?
Yes.
Okay, I don't have that one.
So labradorite is it's a beautiful stone. It's very strong in grounding you. So maybe with the grounding, possibly look at some carnelian also. Okay?
Okay. Are you about to leave?
Yeah, I have to go. I've only got 30 seconds left.
Okay, and I was, for intrusive thoughts, I was told to get bloodstone. Anything else you can help me with that?
You know what? Contact me at the Amethyst Forest, AMEFOREST at shaw.ca. Okay?
At what?
Shaw, SHAW.ca. Okay?
All right, thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Tiffany, and thanks for all of you for joining us tonight here, Vancouver Island. I'm Terry Lynn Boyle, Vancouver Island Medium. Find me on Facebook at Vancouver Island Medium. Hugs, kisses, have a beautiful week.
Of Developing Devotion. I'm so grateful that you're here tonight, and I'm so excited for tonight's topic. I'm going to be diving into how to maximize serendipity in your life. Such an exciting topic. And before we dive in, I just want to open with a prayer tonight. That feels really, really good for my soul and my heart, and it's a really beautiful way to just open up this sacred space that we get the chance to share for the next 30 minutes or so. So wherever you are, just feeling super grateful for this moment, knowing that you came across this message, this content, this show, however you are experiencing my voice right now, just know that this message is finding you at the exact right moment in your life because you're ready for it, because you have been asking for it, not necessarily verbally, but energetically. You have been calling in this message that you're ready to hear tonight, wherever you are in your life right now. And God, universe, guides, angels, we just thank you so much for this amazing technology that allows all of us spiritual seekers to join together in such a beautiful community. We're so grateful for this technology that allows us to keep ourselves educated and keep ourselves in just total love and awareness of all of the wonderful things that we get to experience in life through these channels of technology, through audio, through video, connecting to people all around the world. What a beautiful time it is to be alive. And we're so, so grateful for the opportunity to connect in this way. Thank you. Amen. So wherever you are, just feeling gratitude, you know, a lot of people in today's day and age have a love-hate relationship with technology, but it allows us to connect in these really beautiful ways that wouldn't be possible without it. So as much as sometimes technology might bother you, I know sometimes it bothers me as well, holding that space of so much gratitude because we really are able to experience so much more from life and this connection that we get to develop with one another all across the world, and that is so, so cool. So yeah, tonight we're diving into my 3 favorite ways to maximize serendipity in your life. So I mean, I imagine if you're listening to this, you probably know what serendipity is, and it's basically the theory of meaningful coincidences, right? So you can write off a coincidence as nothing more, or you can see it with this deep meaning guiding your life in a certain direction. And that's really how I choose to live my life. And I noticed the frequency of these serendipitous moments, of these meaningful coincidences happening at such a faster rate because of these techniques that I do. And this was a concept that I wasn't even aware of, or this phrase, until this afternoon. So before we dive into these 3 techniques, I really need to share the story of how this came about this afternoon. So for those of you who don't know, my very specific spiritual practice is journaling by hand every single morning. I've been doing this for 9 years now, and it's a practice that was developed by Julia Cameron in The Artist's Way, this practice of morning pages, which I'm going to get into because this is one of my 3 techniques. But just to preface the techniques, I had finished my journal yesterday morning, and I didn't get to go out yesterday to grab a new one. So this morning when I woke up, because that's like my morning ritual, I wake up, I grab my journal, I make my coffee. Again, I'll get into that in a minute, but I didn't have my journal. So I knew even last night that when I woke up this morning, I'd have to go and grab some more journals. Now, there's usually a specific art store that I will go and get these journals at, which is about 20 minutes away or so. And this morning, I really didn't feel like driving that far. I just kind of wanted to grab something and start writing. So the odd time that happens, I'll just go to the dollar store because they have sketchbooks, and I always write in sketchbooks with outlines. Those are just feel the best for me. So I went up to the dollar store that was maybe like a 5-minute drive away, and I knew today that I needed to shift my environment a little bit. I woke up from a dream, actually, that I was completely unprepared for this show tonight, and it left me feeling like pretty anxious. It left me feeling when I woke up in the morning like, okay, I really need to prepare more. So I already knew before I left the house I'm going to go buy my new journal, and I'm going to go out to write today. I'm going to go and sit at my favorite local coffee shop, and specifically with the intention of like, I need to change my environment. I need to stimulate some new thoughts. And the best way to do that is put yourself in a new environment, a new experience, kind of shift what you're doing. So even sometimes I will do that for this intention when I feel like I need to shift things up a little bit. I will specifically choose to